like obviously you're playing Wexford and Wicklow in the first game, which I'd imagine whether it is Wexford or Wicklow, whoever it is, I'd imagine you'd win that fairly comfortably. You'd have to imagine. And then after that, it's like Kildare, unless Offaly produce some sort of shock. I mean, they do have a few good young players, but you'd have to feel it would be Kildare. So, I mean, how would you feel going into a match against Kildare? I mean, obviously they have a new manager there. Like Daniel Flynn's come back. Like, they have a few good players, but would you reckon you'd get the better of Kildare?
Yeah, I definitely fancy our chances. If we keep our key players injury free, definitely think like we've been unlucky this year. As I said, I definitely think we'd fancy our chances of beating Kildare and reaching a final. Great young players coming through. Fortunate with the situation this year in the under 20 championship. It was a bit of a mess. I think Meath only actually. I was listening to a bit of a podcast there from Anthony Moyles, who used to be the former Meath captain, and he was saying Meath only came back training there. What was it? A week or two before Christmas, where it's Dublin and Laois actually been back training in November, and that's why yourselves hammered us. So I definitely think them young players coming through, like Shane Walsh, if he's available, you've Matthew Costello, and even some more established players like James Conlon. Definitely fancy ourselves getting to the final now. And like I said, if we have Mickey Newman, we've Seamus Lavin come back as well. Yeah, I'd fancy ourselves playing Dublin for sure. But don't get me wrong, I wouldn't underestimate Kildare. Like you said, Daniel Flynn coming back. I think they're a team in transition as well. So I think we're just a little bit ahead of them, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd have to agree as well. Like, I definitely, I'll probably make my own video at some point giving my own kind of predictions, but I definitely kind of fancy Meath probably a little bit over Kildare. Like, I think Kildare do have a great team, but I just think at the moment with the new manager, and I think we even seen it in the league, they weren't quite up to the standard just yet. And then obviously in the final, I mean, barring something absolutely miraculous, surely it's obviously going to be Dublin in the final. I mean, it didn't go too well against Dublin last year. I mean, it was competitive like at the start, and then unfortunately, just hitting the 4 points probably not. I definitely think Meath can definitely play like a lot better in the final this year. So, like, what would you be expecting going into that game? Would you be expecting a better performance, or for it to be close, or maybe even beat Dublin? I don't know.
Definitely be expecting a much better performance. Like since then, we've had the Super 8s and the league campaign under our belt. A lot of young lads have been kind of integrated much better into the squad. But yeah, I'd fancy ourselves against yourselves. Obviously, probably not to win, but put up a good performance in that sense. But it'd be interesting to see compared to last year how we do if you do play yourselves in the final. You never know, though, yourselves, you could be much more ahead again. Could have improved.
Yeah,
we don't really know. Like it's hard to tell now at the minute. Not much football played in quite a while, so it'll be interesting enough.
Yeah, I suppose even that league game might even tell us something, because I'd imagine both teams would probably go full strength just to get minutes on the board and get to kind of work out the matchups and whatnot. Now obviously, like we spoke
about, best team.
Yeah, absolutely. Now obviously we spoke a bit on Patrick's podcast just about kind of, I suppose, just kind of the state of Leinster football at the moment, with the likes of like Dublin just being so far ahead of everyone. Like, what would you think needs to change for the likes of Meath, Kildare, Laois to kind of get a bit closer? Would you think of maybe like changing the provincial structure, or what would you think needs to change?
I think it's actually in Meath itself. Like, I was looking there at the statistics the last time, and Meath won under 21 championship was 2001. I think that's right now, but that's crazy. I know coming through the years, underage, like up to minor, we've been giving yourselves Dublin like a good run. I think we've beaten you all the way up to like mine under 17, but we won it there in 2018. Reached an All Ireland semi final. I think the year after, a very very good team as well. But I just think it's not under 20, under 21 football. It's under 20 now. It's not taken serious enough in me. Like I was saying there earlier, training 1 week before Christmas, whereas Dublin, I think Laois yourselves, have been training since the start of November. And then I heard coming up to the first under 20 game against Dublin yourselves earlier this year, I think you have a few lads who are involved in the Meath panels. I think Shane Walsh and Matthew Costello, and they are training with the Meath team 4 days before the under 20 match against Dublin, and Shane Walsh ended up getting injured. So I think there definitely needs to be a bit more emphasis put on under 20 football, because definitely if you have a strong under 20 team, it's much more easier to bring players through into the senior squad. But yeah, I'm not even sure. Maybe you could look at structuring it differently, because Dublin use a dominating under 20 football team yourselves there. But I think there's no excuses there for me to be competing as well. It's just not taken seriously enough compared to minor football.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably a combination of things. I'd imagine, like with coaching, management, and then obviously funding and different things. It's probably just a kind of combination of all of them that's really kind of led Dublin to be this, like, just so far ahead. But